time to draft the quarterback movement we'd like to see this offseason, Peter. And we've got a trivia question, and this is going to be a joint project because I don't expect you to get all 5. We're going to work on this together. I'm going to give you the first pick anyway, but here's the question. I'm fascinated by this. 5 American colleges have had both a U.S. president and a Super Bowl winning quarterback as alumni. Name the 5 schools. I can think of 2. I'm beyond that. I'm just throwing darts.
Michigan is one with Gerald Ford and Tom Brady. What do you got?
I got Delaware, Joe Biden and Joe Flacco.
Wow,
all right.
Nice.
How
about Stanford? Stanford. Yeah.
There we go.
And
got 3. Texas.
There's a small college, right?
Small college in a flyover state, says Matt Casey. Somewhere in Ohio. What would it be in Ohio?
I'm an
idiot.
Know.
Tell us. Let's
clue.
go. Let's see what they are. I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger, the Miami Redhawks.
Roger Staubach.
Navy. Navy.
Okay, so who's the president from Miami of Ohio? Benjamin Harrison.
Of course,
Miami
Mike.
Of Ohio.
How could you not know that?
Yeah,
Come on.
I will hang my head in shame. All right, you get the first pick. Quarterback movement we'd like to see.
Deshaun Watson to the Jets. Hate to be a cliche, but I want to see Deshaun Watson in that sort of Shanahan, Mike LaFleur class of coach where you really take a lot of pressure off the quarterback and you give him solutions every time he drops back to pass. Plus, I think Joe Douglas is a really good personnel guy. He's going to find players, and Robert Saleh is going to know how to coach them. I like the Jets, and plus Deshaun Watson wants to go there. It's a good trade partner for Houston. You trade them Sam Darnold, the number 2 pick in the draft, and next year's 1, and hope that gets the job done.
And remember, Watson wanted the Texans to interview Saleh. The Texans, the only team of 7 with vacancies this year that did not interview Robert Saleh. I want to see Matthew Stafford go to the Indianapolis Colts. I think it makes too much sense to not happen. Dome Stadium for Stafford in Detroit, Dome in Indianapolis. They need that quarterback who can be plug and play, probably better option than Phillip Rivers at this point in their respective careers, still fairly young, still can get it done, and needs to have good leadership and good coaching around him. I don't think he's ever had consistent good coaching, and I don't think he's ever had true leaders in the locker room, and it's something that I feel like he doesn't want to do. So I think Indianapolis would make a lot of sense, and they would be a factor again in the AFC if they have him, Peter.
I'd like to see Jared Goff go to the New England Patriots. I'd like to see Goff in maybe a less frenetic kind of offense. And I'd like to see him coached by Josh McDaniels. And I'd like to see the Patriots go out and draft/sign in free agency some skill players to give Goff a chance.
Well, unless they're going to build a dome in New England, I don't see Jared Goff playing for the Patriots because he doesn't like to play in the cold, if you haven't noticed. But maybe he would get used to it after some practices out there in the Northeast. Next one for me, I want to see Kirk Cousins go to the 49ers for a couple of reasons. I want the Vikings to move on from Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry. I just do. He loves him not. He loves him. He loves him not. I think it's time for a change in Minnesota in a lot of ways, frankly. But Kyle Shanahan, one of the reasons he didn't go after Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson in the 2017 draft is he had his sights set on getting Kirk Cousins as a free agent a year later. And the Jimmy Garoppolo trade happened in between. But I feel like it's destined for those two to get together. And I know 49ers fans freak out when I try to make that argument. I was on radio in San Francisco a week or two ago. But Cousins at least is going to be available to play. He's not going to be hurt 75% of the time. Cousins never misses time. So put him in that offense and let him develop consistency, and you pair him up with that defense. I think it could be a good pairing. I don't know what the Vikings would do for quarterback, but I got some ideas maybe later in the draft.
Well, if you had just said that before my last pick, I would have then given Garoppolo to the Patriots because I'd love to see that happen. But I just think at the end of the day, I think the 49ers are going to sniff around the edges of all these derbies. And for some reason, I think they're going to be back with Garoppolo. Not that that's a unanimous slam dunk, but that's kind of what I think. I'll give you one that I think Pro Football Focus had it right on the nose. Jameis Winston to the Carolina Panthers. You know, they got a C year out of Teddy Bridgewater. Not really what they were hoping for. And I think Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator at Carolina, wants a quarterback who can throw the ball downfield to his speed receivers. And keep in mind, Mike, deepest average target in the NFL over the last 5 years, Jameis Winston. Now, he's thrown a lot of picks. We all know that. But I think they want to have a Darryl LaMonica deep strike offense in Carolina. I'd love to see Jameis Winston do that.
And this is a follow to that and a companion to my prior pick. I want to see Teddy Bridgewater go back to Minnesota. I don't know why the Panthers are so down on him all of a sudden. You get this vibe that they're looking and they're looking and they're looking, and Bridgewater's not good enough. Well, why'd you give him a 3-year, $66 million contract if you think he's not good enough? I think Bridgewater has shown incredible growth. He's come so far from that torn ACL that supposedly was going to end his career. It would just be one hell of a story. I always root for a great story, and it would be one hell of a story to see Bridgewater back in Minnesota and finally fulfill that potential that he was on the brink of realizing before that horrible knee injury. We got one more round, or that's it? We got one more round if you want one.
Okay, if we're going to do one more round, I'm going to do a preposterous one, okay? I want Aaron Rodgers to go to the Patriots. He's the second quarterback I'm giving to the Patriots. And he's not going there. You know, it's like Mark Murphy says, we're not idiots. We're not trading Aaron Rodgers. And they shouldn't trade Aaron Rodgers. I would just love to see. I'd love to see Bill Belichick coach Aaron Rodgers. I'd love to see Josh McDaniels coach Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers would love to go somewhere that has suddenly become a little bit of an underdog. You know, because the Patriots now, nobody expects them to do anything. If Aaron Rodgers could take that team, you know, and play like a championship game in Kansas City against Patrick Mahomes at some point in the next 2-3 years, now that would be like the cap on Bill Belichick's coaching career.
All right, I'll see your preposterous, and I'll go slightly more preposterous. I want to see Derek Carr just because I love chaos, and when chaos arrives, I want to maximize it. I want Derek Carr to the Houston Texans. Following in his brother's footsteps almost 20 years later, they didn't draft him because it didn't go well with Derek Carr, but, you know, what the hell? It's all turned upside down in Houston. They may need a quarterback, and maybe if John Gruden can get himself a Matthew Stafford or a Cam Newton or someone else, he'd move on from Derek Carr. So that was...
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.